words.
All right, good evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock, and I would like to call the Hudsonville Public Schools Board of Education work session for September 23rd to order. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So board members have the agenda in front of them. If I can have a motion to approve. Motion from Mark, second. Second from Greg. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, agenda's approved. Tonight we don't have any recognitions of visitors and hearing of people present, so we will move right into our discussion items. And first up is our high school family, consumer science, PE, and health courses.
Yeah, so we're kind of dwindling down to the final courses. I think they're all pretty straightforward. The ones that I maybe wanted to draw your attention to fall under specialized areas of study. In particular, you'll see that Michigan Online Courses course catalog is listed there. Apex Learning, which is another online platform, and then Grad Alliance courses. So I just wanted to take a minute to just give an overview on those in particular. So Michigan Online Course Catalog, most of access that students have to those courses fall under 21F. So by state law, students can offer up to 2 courses a trimester or semester if it's a middle school student under 21F, and this provides them an opportunity for that online course access. Right now, we have about 15 to 17 students taking advantage of courses. Most of the time, it's a course that we don't offer. So like sign language, for example, and that is a course that students access through 21F. So that's just giving you an example of that. Apex is similar format as Michigan Virtual. We haven't used Apex in the last couple of years. However, if there were ever a student with medical needs, they would qualify potentially under 21F if it's in their best interest, and we would want to continue to have those offerings available just in case there wasn't something offered through Michigan Virtual, is the thinking around that. And then Graduation Alliance is actually the online platform that we use with our alternate ed program that we're in first year of full implementation this year with about 17 students. So those were the only courses really on the list that had any nuance to them that I wanted to just elevate.
Are there any questions for Amy?
When we should avoid them at the October 10th.
Okay. All right. I also wanted to just state that Nick is excused tonight. His daughter is being inducted into the National Honor Society. All right. Next up, we have our Baldwin Street traffic light.
So we've talked extensively about the Baldwin Street traffic light. After the Ottawa County Road Commission approved the request for a traffic light not at 40th, but at Brewer and Baldwin, which is the exit of the campus over there. We, let's just say they are just not happy about the whole, that they're not, that it's not their wish to put a traffic light in. But it's been approved. However, the intersection, the road commission's approved. That's correct. Well, it's not their idea to approve it. So it's, let's just say they're not like, hey, when can we start it? We need a shovel, how can we help out? So we've been doing a lot of work trying to get this moving. If you know the intersection that we were requesting, which was 40th and Baldwin, it's a three-way intersection, right? I guess that's anyway. This is now a 4-way intersection. It is wider. There are sidewalk implications. So the cost is gone up significantly. We still think it's the right thing to do. The estimated cost initially was right around $100,000. When you put all of the design, architectural work, sidewalk implications, it's a little bit more than double in price. We're still working in connection with Georgetown Township. Their board is fully on board with getting this done. I don't have a recommendation for you tonight. This process goes through Georgetown Township, is the one that does the bidding. Very similar to what we did with the non-motorized pathway. If you remember when we put that in, the city took care of everything and then we reimbursed them the portion that the board approved. So what I'm asking tonight is, do we have approval to use more dollars towards getting this done? Georgetown has a meeting at 7 o'clock tonight. They're having the same request. They're already on board because they already had their subcommittee meeting to discuss it. So now it's just a discussion. I still think it's the right thing to do. I think the safety of our kids, you can't really put a price on. I'm not saying that you would say to put a price on it. I do think that, let's just say if they were extremely cooperative, it wouldn't be substantially cheaper either way. I mean, it's a complete rework of the sidewalk structure over there. If you go over there, Pat and I have spent plenty of time over there. Today we met with Georgetown Township over there. The sidewalk comes in and it has a cross kind of away from the intersection, but with a traffic light, it has to be right on the intersection because you can't have a car between the two. So the sidewalk has to move in, which is all realignment along Baldwin, as well as the additional push buttons for crossing, the markings that will go, and then the sidewalk implications on the other side also for where the curb cut would be coming out. So the cost we think is estimated right now just about $203,000, which includes everything for that traffic light. There are other implications at 40th. If you remember me talking to you about 40th and what they would redo, we're putting those on hold until we get the traffic light in, and I think Georgetown Township's going to try to take care of as much as they can with it.
How much are we responsible for?
We've agreed to pay half, but that was when I kind of gave you the idea of the half would be around $50,000.
Okay.
Half would be a little bit closer to 100. Going from there. It's still sinking fund eligible. Our sinking fund, based on our past bond issue, is, I'll say, extremely healthy. Without going into the numbers, I know we have the audit coming up that you'll see and you'll look at the numbers, but there's definitely money that's eligible from a sinking fund. But it's not bond eligible. It is grant eligible, and we'll continue to pursue safety grants to cover it as we did in the past. But we took the grant that, as it took too long to get, we've used that grant to do plenty of other safety improvements in the district with the speed zone signs and so forth that you may have seen at Bauer and at Forest Grove, and additional ones going up throughout the district.
Are you looking for feedback?
And
We should do it.
I agree.
And that's what I was looking for. I know at the end of the day, once we have the bill that we reimburse Georgetown for, we'll ask for board approval because the cost is above the $29,000 that I can approve. But it could be June before I ask for that. I just don't want to set them on a course and then they come back and say, you know, so.
This is not an issue that's going to go away. If anything, it's just going to get worse. And to me, again, we've had enough people in the community who've talked about it, let alone the fact, like you said, how do you put a price on making sure that we have everything that we've done possible for students.
Okay,
What you
that was
need to move
everything. Tell me
forward.
what I need. Thank you.
Good. All right, irrigation bid recommendation, Mr. Briggs.
Thank you. If you look in the packet, there is a recommendation and then a bid tab. We can just go right to the bid tab. I'll give some background on this. We have a 28-year-old sprinkler system at Baldwin. So before we did the work at the 5-6 building, it was struggling. I mean, it didn't owe us anything, so to speak. During construction for the 5-6 building, we had to take a major water line through there and a sewer line that kind of went in the same trench. We knew about, because we have as-built prints, we knew about what the system was, and all the contractors did their best to protect it, but they had to go through it. They just thought they'd re-sleeve afterwards. We went through it for that. We went through it for, there's 4. We went through it for the road. We went through it for the fiber line. And, no, that's 3. So the road, the water line, water and sewer line, and the fiber line. So we cut it 3 times. It didn't go back together as well as we hoped, but it was old. I wouldn't say it crumbled, but when we re-energized, it just didn't go back together well. So another issue, the well there is not new. So to help us, this is the south side of Baldwin middle school to help this. The system has always been underpowered. Could have been bad lines, could have been collapsed lines, whatever it was, always in this life since 2015, since Pat's been here. But we've struggled since 2015 getting the front of that school looking decent. So what this does, it puts a well on the south side of the building, totally replaces the irrigation, and this is a lot of the island irrigation that is in those. Baldwin has a lot of islands out there. And so it gets this new well, new irrigation. And if you look at the bid tab, we got 4 bidders, which this time of year we didn't think we'd get that, but we did, to OAK's credit. The first bidder, that's actually low, they forgot the well. That's why they're lower, that much lower. The next bidder is the recommended bidder, Michigan Automatic Sprinkler. They're from the other side of the state, Commerce Township. I was able to call some contacts I had from school business over on that side of the state, and all the references, like it's not people they put on the reference form, this is other contractors, had great recommendations. They supplied their written required recommendations, like references, to Dan. Dan checked those all out. They came through really well. Why would a contractor from the east side of the state want to do work over here on the west side of the state? They are expanding. They're just expanding. This is a growth area. They like to get enough work over here to have a satellite office, and we couldn't find anything bad to say about this company. So our recommendation will be next at the regular meeting to sum it up in the first page there, to award a contract for $118,614 to Michigan Automatic Sprinkler. Any questions about all of that?
So this irrigation is just for the front of the building? This isn't any practice fields or anything like that, right? That's all separate?
It gets a few areas up, like around the tennis courts. That's as far as it goes. But we have an allowance to, we really have to see, the last damage we did was we cut fiber line across the back that cut the system, basically the main leg that went out to what used to be the varsity's baseball field.
Yeah.
We think we can repair it, but we put a $10,000 allowance in there that isn't reflected in their contract yet. We put a $10,000 allowance in to repair that or replace the system, but it looks like those heads are in good shape. They're in better shape than the ones in the islands. They're kind of beat up with snow plowing and things like that. So, but the practice field, what used to be a field to the directly north of the tennis courts, it just doesn't get used as much, and functionally it's 40% smaller because of the way the road cuts through there. So can be used a little bit, but it just doesn't need irrigation over there. It's really expensive to get irrigation back to it. Good question. Thanks.
What kind of, I'm assuming this is all on an automated system and this all integrates regardless. I'm just curious, like who manages when it goes on, when it goes off, all that system connects?
It's got a controller, a clock inside the building.
Okay,
You can set it
okay,
for the days, when it comes on. How
Okay.
long you run per zone. things
zones,
like
okay.
that.
Hey Pat, so they're looking to expand into the west side of the state. Do they have an office presence here now?
I didn't check that out. But they've got clients. So somebody
They're
will
on
at
the
least,
west side.
will at least be in the route. I mean, they'll have somebody over here. We won't be the only people that have to go over here to service.
Okay.
But with their stance, they're aggressive on pricing. They're also expanding into other states. It's a second generation company, and the one who's in charge now is growing it.
Yeah, expansion's, that's fine,
Yeah.
that's good. We just don't want to get it. So if you're saying that they've got presence over here already.
Yeah.
And,
we're not gonna be fighting with other limited resources in Illinois or someplace, then that's fine for us.
We worked, the parts, one of the things is like availability of parts. These are, they use Spartan to the distributors, and Spartan actually does like a manufacturer engineering takeoff with all manufacturer spec parts. And so the parts are readily available, and we just don't see the problem to work. The normal thing about irrigation contractors, I can't remember when we've written a contract directly with the irrigation contractor. It's always with a landscaper. So it's hard for us to go find, checking references took longer than it normally does in a company, because when I talked to the school people, like, we worked with other contractors. It's usually very lower. They're sub to a sub to a sub usually, but these people aren't.
I think just ongoing maintenance for our sprinkler system in general across the campuses, how do we manage it?
Well, it kind of depends on the site. Up on that campus, we have a lot more support with the grounds people for the big athletic facilities. So, Rob Shepherd's heads that up. But other campuses, it's supported, for the most part, it's supported out of central maintenance. The high school, we put a dedicated outdoor grounds person on 2016.
So we do it all
Yeah.
ourselves, we're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. We don't have, if there's a big break somewhere,
Yeah.
we'll call somebody in to redo something, but for the most part, we do our own head replacement, clock setting and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Briggs? All right, we'll see this on our agenda in October.
Thank you.
All right, next up, our water polo trip request.
Yes, for our girls' water polo, I know we're in the middle of boys' season, but our girls' water polo trip, they traditionally forget and then ask us 3 days before they go. I've reminded them too many times, so they are requesting their annual trip to Adelaide students and to play girls' water polo this coming spring. It's usually the first, about the middle of their season, earlier in their season, but this is the request that we would traditionally get. So I wanted to share that with the work session and ask for, we'll put on the consent agenda at the next one. If there are any questions, be happy to answer.
No questions, but I did see Emily Tuttle. She was a former player, right?
She was. So
Yes.
Emily is the oldest of the 3 Tuttle girls.
Okay.
There's Claire and Ellie. And
Okay.
Ellie just graduated a couple years ago. But Emily's been coaching on our team.
That's great. I like that.
Any other questions? All right, that concludes our business for tonight. We'll do a quick roundtable, and I'll start with Mr. DeWitt on my right this evening.
Thank you very much.
The finance subcommittee has a meeting with Pat and the accountants next week from Thursday, and I'll just give a report after that comes up.
Hopefully you've had a chance to see the various articles in Box 17 that have been out, not only regarding the Gen Z lingo, but the article specifically about the former, or just recently former bus driver. Not only was it just cool to see what the other bus drivers were willing to do for him, but specifically what stood out to me is, and he said for 9 years he had been a bus driver. And he said, when I joined bus driving 9 years ago, I didn't know I was going to join a family. And I thought that just, it struck home, because I do think that the majority of the people, especially who are working here day after day, recognize this as a family, regardless of the size that we keep growing. And I just thought, again, another testament to those that work around us and are unsung heroes every day, but yet take care of their own. So if you didn't see the article, you'll want to.
And just to kind of follow on that point, taking care of our own, we charge the team with achieving student achievement and so forth. We also charge the team with student safety and all these threats and so forth. I can't imagine the disruption that must cause to our district, not just our district, other districts, but it's ridiculous, it's sickening. And we thank you for all the work that you do to try and balance all this out in a really challenging situation that it's just really too bad. There's just like, I appreciate it to keep our kids safe.
All right, and Dawn, I just wanted to say that it's been, that has received a lot of media attention for the bus driver. It was on early Sunday, like at 5 in the morning on, I think it was Channel 17. I saw it on, but it's received a lot of media attention locally and outward.
Sure.
So good. All right, I will take a motion to adjourn. Motion from Andrew, support from Dawn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.